the Friday edition. The preseason is coming to an end tomorrow for the Green Bay Packers edition. The Matt LaFleur told us what we should think of preseason, and I appreciate him for it edition. And the, oh boy, if you have a feeling of deja vu or you're worried about one of the greatest players in NBA history leaving us, you should have that feeling. Disagree?
Yeah.
Well, we'll explore that further with Mr. Disagree edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video. Right now to me and 12 other people on Twitter, but also YouTube, Facebook, soon to be, I'm sure, on live streaming on LinkedIn. Okay, maybe not. And everything you need on WisconsinOnDemand.com and the Wisconsin On Demand app. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios and wearing his swim pants, we can only hope, from his undisclosed location. He's the Packers Hall of Famer. He is Mark Tausch. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm a little dumbfounded by Twitter/X and the Packer fans' response to your poll yesterday, which was fair and a good poll. I don't understand. What do fans not understand about what your question was? It wasn't, do I support the quarterback? We said that in the poll. What bothers me is in 2008, you wrote an article. You talked about the differences between how Aaron Rodgers was treated and how he was brought in compared to Jordan, and how this is so much easier for Jordan because he has unanimous support. And everybody's acting like you're crazy, like there's some, like it's, oh, that's just standard. Literally the last time this exact thing happened, it wasn't standard, and we're trying to wonder why. And for everyone to come at you, listen, I love it when people are punching at you. I think it's fun. You jockeying and, when it's warranted, when you're hedging and when you're being kind of a baby. This is nothing to do with you. I am disappointed that people can't look at that. Jordan thought it was interesting. Your article was very interesting because it's like the eclipse. It's every 15, 20 years. This happens, okay? It's intriguing. Why is it happening? And was anything gleaned from it? That's fascinating. That's interesting. And the fact that people are just like, there's a G on his helmet. Shut up, idiot. It's troubling to me. So that's how I feel this morning, Jason.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really super fun. I really enjoyed that. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about social media, and you could say all you want, oh, it's just Twitter or whatever we're calling it now. But when people, when the one guy called me an effing moron,
that was rough.
That wasn't
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot.
A little fun banter is always interesting, right? And if someone has a point, but just to come out and say you're a blank and blanco because they have a G on the helmet. Hey, Jesse, you're in that category. You didn't support Aaron Rodgers when he started in 2008. So it is intriguing, and it should get delved into, and I'm fascinated and dumbfounded that people are like, you're a moron, stop talking about it, blah, 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 blah. It was fascinating to watch. I looked at it this morning, and I was thinking, I don't get this. I'm confused by this.
For those that are curious, that missed it yesterday, the poll question was this, and if I yell during this to emphasize a portion of the poll, be prepared.
What you want to do about the Packers?
I guess I should have
Can we just do an all
else.
caps poll today? Can we just have it every
No,
word?
then you're mad.
Emphasized?
Then you got that fuming, part.
Today's Wilde and Tausch poll, which, by the way, has an hour and 23 minutes left in it to vote in. If you want, we're almost at 3,000 votes. So apparently some people thought it was interesting enough to vote in, despite the limited choices that you apparently had. Jordan Love's definitely feeling the love from fans. Aside from simply rooting for 10.
Did you put aside and capitalize it, though?
No, I should have in retrospect. But then you're capitalizing a lot.
That jumps at you. Yeah.
Aside from simply rooting for 10. Because he's the Packers quarterback, because you want to win. The default setting is you're going to root for the Packers' new quarterback because everyone is rooting for him. He said it himself. It's been nothing but positive, unlike 08. And as you pointed out, Jordan Love was fascinated when I was telling him. I felt like a historian. I felt like you were telling him.
You were Cliff Crystal. You were explaining what happened back in the Lombardi era because it was 15, 18 years ago.
Yes. Wait. My favorite part was, he landed a helicopter at Lambeau Field? No. He landed
oh my God.
on a jet at Austin
So you were telling Jordan this, and he was like eating it up.
Yes, loved Aaron never told me this. This is great.
It was story time with Wilde and Jordan Love about how Aaron Rodgers took over for Brett Favre.
Yeah, I wrote it the night of, and then I wrote the story. It appeared the next morning in the State Journal from Family Night. So I pre-interviewed him and talked about it with him. And yes, the first sentence in the story is, quote, "Wait," Jordan Love said, confused. He landed on the field? No. It was so much. And again, you guys have heard me say it a million times. I really like him. And that was one of the moments where, like, we had a lot of fun having that conversation. Back to the poll. Aside from simply rooting for 10, which of these is the biggest other reason for your support? I was sick of Rodgers. The 2022 Packers missed the playoffs. Or I was unfair to Rodgers in 08. And again, it has garnered nearly 3,000 votes. So this is not everybody that looked at it and went, you're an effing moron.
Yeah, Jason, somebody just tweeted at me. It's like, time to move on. Well, yeah, no, everybody's moving on. I get that. It's interesting, okay? And the fact that the starting quarterback that will be starting tomorrow night and is starting in Chicago in a couple weeks finds it incredibly interesting. Not going to tell fans what to think, but I would think if your starting quarterback finds something really interesting about the historical context of this franchise and its transitioning of quarterbacks, I would think you'd find that interesting and delve into it a little bit rather than just say, shut up, you idiots, and just move on and talk about the... Like that, to me, I would think that you, as a fan base, would also like that. But maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't seem like we're wrong, though.
And, by the way, this is a positive about the fan base. Way to go. Whatever your reason, because you hate Aaron Rodgers' guts, because you feel bad that you behaved the way Jesse did in 2008, whatever.
Does Jesse feel bad now?
No, I said other people feel bad if they behave like Jesse. Jesse makes no apologies for anything. But this is good that the fan base is united behind him. That's not what Aaron Rodgers dealt with. And as Tausch pointed out, he didn't know if the fan base was really behind him until they beat a winless Joe Barry defensive coordinated team in the Detroit Lions. And they gave a standing O on his way off the field for winning their 6th game of the year.
It's a very interesting part of Packers history that, by the way, is unfolding right before your eyes, and it's fast. It should be intriguing to say, what's different about this? Why is this different? That's why, because normally everybody is, that's interesting. There'll be people who'll say, oh, it's stupid, blah, blah, blah. But just to say, they got a G on their helmet, well, they had a G on, Aaron Rodgers had a G on his helmet. No, and it wasn't like
this. You weren't rooting for him. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it's intriguing to the people, and I don't know what percentage, but it was more than one person that was spitting at you.
It felt like a lot.
I gotta admit, I love it when people get at you. this is not warranted to get at you, and I would always push people to get at you if
I'm
it was
aware.
warranted.
Yes, that's part of your charm.
Unwarranted.
Meanwhile, we did an event last night at the Avenue, and all I did was sing your praises, and you're sitting here going on the radio going, yeah, I like it when people get after you, but this was too much. Your choices was so
Am I right?
You're on brand. So your choices was so done with Rodgers. 51% of people, and nearly 3,000 of them, said that was the biggest other reason, other than the G on his helmet, other than he's Jordan Love and the Packers quarterback. 51% said they were so done with Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Another 28% said because last season was bad. That made them more ready to move on. And then 21%, Jesse, I'm sure is not in this group, learned from my behavior in 08. And look, there is and I keep running into this guy. I have been nothing but respectful toward him. I'm not going to talk about him specifically on the radio, but I've been nothing but respectful to him. He is a huge Jordan Love supporter, okay?
Okay.
This does not mean that you can't cheer for Jordan Love just because you think he's going to be good. But there are lots of Packers fans that have ulterior motives. And if you can't look yourself in the mirror and at least at some point say, you know what, I think my dislike of Aaron Rodgers is intensifying my already existing support of Jordan Love, and you don't think that that's you, fine. But if it is you and you can't acknowledge that that's a little part of you, then I don't know what to tell you. Because there are a lot of people that are supporting Jordan Love, but there are a lot of people that are supporting him more ardently because they were so frickin' sick of the last guy. And now they're hate-watching Hard Knocks to see, oh, now he's Mr. I'm going to shepherd these young players. And, oh, now he's saying things like, well, I'm not going to chew guys out like I used to. I'm not going to bite heads off. All this stuff. Yeah, that's all the undercurrent of how you feel about him. It doesn't mean your independent support of Love is not valid. It just intensifies it. And just own that. It's okay to own that.
Yeah. Yeah, and before we move on, which we will, it's Pack Family. This guy, Pack Family on Twitter, is saying, just the starting quarterback. Again, that's not how it works.
SpongeBob Cheesehead, because he's the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, you psycho.
I do like the fact that he called you a psycho. That's fun.
I'm sweet, but I'm psycho.
That's the part of this that, for us that lived it, you wrote it, you were there, and to see how the change has happened, and Aaron doing Jordan a big favor by being a little jerkish and having a bunch of the fans say, I'm done with you, where Favre, that was not the case. But again, you brought up a good point yesterday about the buy-in and how invested the quarterbacks were. Was Aaron invested then? Well, you should have looked at, was Brett at all the offseason stuff? How invested was he?
Right.
The last couple of seasons?
Looked at
all
that.
Of those are fair questions. And that's the whole point. History repeats itself. In this case, history did not repeat itself. Mm-hmm. And to ask the question why it didn't, I'm sorry, if you don't think that's interesting, I can't help you. I do. You do. I think most people do find it. Why is it that Jordan Love is getting unanimous love for being the starting quarterback when you just got rid of a Hall of Fame quarterback? That didn't happen in 08. Why? Do my little Brian Windhorst. Why? I think we dug around, and I think the bottom line on it is because people are sick and tired of Rodgers, and that has spurred people to even be more supportive of Jordan Love than before. And for that, I think Jordan probably is going to look at Aaron and say, appreciate you. Appreciate you.
And for whatever portion of the fan base is not like all in on Love or is skeptical of Love, they're not unsupportive of Love. They're unsupportive of Goody. Like, there's a sliver of the fan base that thinks Goody screwed this whole thing up, and pissed off a Hall of Famer and drafted a quarterback too early, which we have not crushed Goody for anything other than to say that the timing didn't make sense. That has been our biggest criticism of it. And so those folks that aren't all in on Love, it isn't even that they dislike Love, it's that they think Goody mismanaged this for the last 3 years and created a situation where they may not succeed. That's all. I'm just eager to get to September 10th, and I hope I do cross my heart and hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. I hope Jordan plays well, because if Jordan plays poorly and they lose to the Bears, while there is a piece of me that is very curious.
You said yesterday nobody will overreact. It's going to just be normal. No big deal.
I want to believe that will not be the case, but there's part of me that wants to either be proven right or proven wrong when we see what happens there. But man, oh man, like if you can't appreciate, because Jordan Love appreciates it. Again, my conversation with him, it ended with him saying, "Man, I can't believe Aaron had to go through that." That was the parting sentence when we finished the story.
That
and he doesn't have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You also don't have to live with...
The question will be, Aaron got his big ovation after the Lions game in December of 2008, beating an 0-16 team. Let's say, if Jordan Love struggles his first 2 weeks, which are both road games, is he going to be roundly applauded the first game at Lambeau? I say yes.
No
I
doubt.
think fans are going to go over above to be supportive, to try and help spur Jordan Love on to being the next great quarterback for this franchise.
I would agree. All right, well, you don't have to choose why you're rooting for him if you don't want to. Just don't vote in the poll. But don't live with the birds and the bees living inside your home because you have leaky, creaky, squeaky windows, and it's like a mosquito zoo in here. Am I right?
Well, let's talk a little bit about the birds and the bees. And now I watched a little bit of 16 Candles, a little more birds and the bees than I thought was in that last night. That PG-13 is a whole different animal 15, 20 years ago than what it is now. But let's talk about nature, and we want to keep all of that nature out of our house. And you know what can help that? Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and their 250 series from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin includes exclusive hidden screens, which can stay inside the window while you're not using it. And if you bundle and save, you get the 250 series patio door and 8 double-hung windows with exclusive hidden screens, and you can pay as little as $1.88 a month. Now that is a good deal. Visit PellaWI.com today to learn more.
We will shift gears from this, and we will talk about how I may have misrepresented what we think of Giannis's comments. Tausch disagreed in the open. We'll explain why next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Homer, Tony, living in perfect harmony. Yeah, right.
Jordan Love, first rounder, who's been sitting 3 years behind Rodgers in the system.
Yeah.
Should be a bigger gap between
Yeah, but see, I think there is a big gap.
Yeah, but should it be bigger given those?
Then it is.
You're talking a fifth-round rookie.
Right.
Versus
should there be a
first
bigger
rounder?
Gap? I think there is a significant gap.
Do you think there is?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I don't know if there's a significant
I think that.
gap.
Listen to Homer and Tony weekdays from 2 to 4 on 94.5 ESPN and wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
What does summer sound like in a new Chevy? Find the best way to the ballpark with the Chevy Equinox navigation system. Load up the kayaks with room to spare in the spacious Chevy Trailblazer with 60/40 split folding rear seats. Haul out the camper and spend a night roasting marshmallows with the Chevy Silverado. Or feel the roar of the crowd and bring the whole crew along in the Chevy Traverse with seating for up to 8. So what are you waiting for? This summer, happiness is in